Two. Hey everybody, welcome to Forge the Narrative. My name is Paul Murphy. This is our weekly webcast. Thank y'all for joining us. Y'all ready to start this show?
Let's get it going.
I want to apologize to everybody for the fact that the podcast was a little late. This non-existent last week. We had some technical difficulties, but I'm fairly certain that we have everything worked out. And we are back on track. I posted episode 56 about 2 hours ago.
Ooh, that's good to know.
5, 6.
Yep.
Cool. Which is really like 5-8 because we lost 2 of them, but that's okay.
Well,
that was our episodes.
If we had a nickel for every episode we've lost, we would have almost enough to buy a Coke.
Yeah, we're getting close.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we've already got quite a few people signed in and hitting us up. Chris, Lamont, appreciate it, guys. William Bryce, Logan, Family of Gamers. Glad to see everybody. Sean.
Saskatchewan. So far, that's winning for the furthest away, I think.
Saskatchewan. I am ignorant. Where is that?
It sounds far away. Yeah.
It sounds really far.
Isn't that the one right next to Northern Territories? I don't remember.
You mean America's hat? America's coonskin hat.
Yeah, Chris brings up a good point. He's like, apparently the Canadians already started this show.
Yeah, that's true.
So we were talking on the recording, and we normally have a few more days in between the recording and when we do this webcast. But this happens to me yesterday. We were talking about this. They're kind of an example of what a bad unit was, and I don't think there is a more classic example than the Possessed.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't remember them ever being good. When were they good?
They were good back in third and fourth edition.
Third edition, when you could have flying Nurgle Possessed with the Plague Sword. I felt like that's when they were really good.
Dude, they were good. I mean, they were good in third and fourth when they were basically only 18 points each, and they just had two-handed hand weapons, and you just rolled to see what their mutation was for the whole game. Remember that?
Yeah, but
that's true.
And you could take you say what?
I said that wasn't good.
No, dude. When they were assault marines that you could buy the marker Nurgle for. So they're toughness 5 people. They were 18 points each. 1/3 of the time they all had power weapons. 1/3 of the time they all had fearsome, and 1/3 of the time they all moved as beasts.
I give that 2 thumbs down.
Yeah, I still don't think that's just like
within the context of that edition. That was still trash.
I don't know, man. I won like approximately 1 billion tournaments with those guys in a Land Raider.
Dude, you have a lot of free time.
Was it them or the Land Raider that did it though, or everything else?
I said approximately 1 billion, give or take a billion.
Give or take a billion.
Wow.
A solid 3.
Absolutely.
Chris Morgan says, "What's up, gentlemen?" And Rob.
Oh wow, that cuts deep.
Ice.
That cuts deep.
Rob Bear, I think. Can you shed a little light? We've got. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I just lost my comment here.
If you click it, Juice is actually running the comments tonight. If you click it, it will jump up at the top.
There it is. Robert is super hyped about this new Forge World Big Bug. Please,
I need to stop you again. I do not see this thing jump to the top highlighted in blue.
There it is. It lagged. It's there.
No,
I think it's lagging. Yeah, there you go. Oh, found it.
Yeah. I'm stoked about it. It looks good. They put out the bulletin this morning, and it kind of looks like a big version of the Tyrant Guard. I think it's going to be very Trigon-esque because if you remember that old what was it, the Amphileon 4 project or the book 4 for Imperial Armor, it featured the Trigon was like the big cool thing out of the book, and then it ended up being replaced and now it's plastic. So they had to come up with something new. So I'm hoping it's very Trigon-esque. See, it's going to be cool.
Yes. Can't wait to see what.
Question there.
Yep.
So, what do you think of tactical mission cards in tournament play? I mean, that's basically
You know, for me, I went on my way to play a couple games with those cards just so I would have ammunition to speak on them without coming from a place of ignorance.
Right.
And I really enjoyed them while I played them. But then, upon reflection, and then talking to a couple of friends, a couple of TOs, on the big scene, I basically was persuaded that they're not for tournaments.
Well, we talked about this before, and I don't know if it's one of the shows that actually got lost in warp or not. But for mission 5 and 6 of our pack, we're going to put something like this in there. It's probably going to be a simplified chart for probably one for the early part of the game and then one for the late part of the game. To mix up how give some more variation and still have that kind of be the random element of things you need to do during the course of the turn to preserve that new 7th edition flavor. But also making it more tournament friendly. So, go ahead, Rob.
I was just gonna let you know that I will give you $1 if we can have cat objectives.
That's almost worth it. That would put us way closer to our buy a Coke fund for towards the narrative.
If I had a nickel for every time we let Rob segue into a conversation and it was only about cats, I would also
also allowed.
So Logan asked and said, so for a fairly new player with a Tau army, what do you think about the competitive prospect of our favorite fish goatman in 7th edition? It's rough out there for a Tau. It is rough.
Oh, so I was like, what's a fish goat? I had no idea what a fish goatman was. Now
that's what they look like. They have hooves and they have
perfect description of what a Tau looks like.
It's like one of those say what you see games. Like if you saw a fish goat, you'd be like, what is going on here?
Well, I will say Shy they did lose. Excuse me, the Ovessa star and things like that. But man, everybody's butthole puckers when 9 broadsides gets put on the board. I would actually even like to see. I don't know about you guys. I'd like to see what 6 devilfish look like now.
Well, you know what's crazy? Actually, I've been in a group chat, and they were talking about that. It's really good for fighting these wave sermons, man. Get a couple, get 9 broadsides, get some fish, get a buff commander, get some marker lights, and you will definitely ruin these 6 wave sermon lists when they don't get the jink.
Yeah, I think that it's pretty good still. Only in the right configuration. Like if you played early 9 broadside Tau. Then I think that you're already set to go. I would try to put that on the table.
Good call.
Yeah.
Steve's saying running the TPM tourney Saturday. Going to start slow at 1,500 points. Do you guys feel that the new psychic phase and the new way of shooting is going to slow things down too much? Will 2K be doable in timed events, 1850 even? I'm going away on this first. I think right now the games are probably going to take a little longer until people get more familiar with them. And I think that's to be expected. But I think to your point, you're not wrong starting off. It's not even bad to start out in your area. Get people adjusted, get people acclimated. Let them know that the tournament edition, tournaments in this edition is not going to be difficult or hard for them. Make it comfortable for whatever your environment is.
Yeah, I don't think they were too bad at the FTW one we did. I think we did 2.5-hour rounds for 1850. Now, granted, it was kind of going through the night, so everything was a little bit slower at nighttime. But I don't think we had any problems getting games done.
No, especially when you have good tournament organization, and that is where you know how much time you have left, and it's being told to you often and loudly. That lights the fire on your ass.
Good tournament time management, and driving it from people that are organizing it, making people if you are lax with people that first game, you're going to have people that drag out the second game and they drag out the third game. And it might be the people they just know they can do with it. So just be firm in that first game, and I think you'll have a better chance of keeping it on time through the whole day. But I think the real question was, it does more points, and with the psyche phase and the additional shooting and all the other phases, all the codex and stuff they're getting now, does that add too much time to the game? And I say it's a solid maybe.
I was about to say, I was going to give you a solid
definitely allows people to. Yep. Well, what it does, it allows people to not have to be so. They can wiggle with their own time management. And I think if you just drive into them that you have to get these games finished, then they will get it finished.
Yeah, another
like
good point.
I mentioned this before, but go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, I mean I feel like we just have a little lag just to the people watching us, so we don't mean to step on each other's toes when we're talking. I just noticed it's happening. I was just agreeing with you, and I was going to reference a game I played with Juice, where we played a game that literally lasted 4 hours.
Yep.
That was because we had no one lighting a fire under our ass. We were playing heavy psychers. I got a little nervous because I was like, man, I'm about to go to SpikeyCon. I'm about to play the same army. It took me 4 hours to play a game with my friend Juice. But I played 3 games until 5 in the morning and got to turn 6 on 2 of them and turn 5 on 1 of them.
There you go.
Yeah, this is a beer and pretzels game. You can just kind of laze around and approach it from a very casual point, and that's kind of what I've been telling people for since 1991 or whatever. But like, hey, if you could either bust out 3 or 4 games in a night, or you could play 1 game all night long and have just as much fun. I think we've gotten back towards that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, coming from the competitive scene, like I love that adrenaline that you get of like, oh, the time crunch, you got to get it out, you got to get it going. But at the same time, I really like those 3-4 hour games that there's no pressure. You're just like talking through stuff, you're having a drink, you're doing whatever else, laughing, joking, so you can enjoy it. So I mean, it's definitely the full shebang-a-bang.
Craig, we have seen the new org rules and stuff, but I don't want to talk about them too much on the show until we actually get the codexes in our hands, so we can kind of provide the right kind of context. I do think that plentiful death rollers might be something to do, though. That's about all I'll comment on it right now.
Can't wait for that. Abram here said he finally got his first game of 7th in, and loved to use some of the new orc stuff, and he said it's hilarious. That's awesome.
There's a bunch of random tables in there now. I think you can build an army that literally has everything in there could have some kind of random table.
Yeah. And a psychic phase? It's going to be a lot of book work.
and the fleet of boot, or whatever they don't have to get.
This is the first time everything is news to me, everything you guys are saying to me. I have stayed off of orcs, trying not to hear the rumors, because I actually want to be surprised when I pick up the book. So I have no idea what anyone's talking about right now. Like, I am really, really excited because I've always enjoyed the playstyle orcs. As a long-time Chaos and Salty guy, my second love in 5th edition was my orcs. I'm super excited for them. I don't want to like overthink them because I got a little depressed with my Chaos. Like trying to like extrapolate where I was going with Chaos based on the 7th edition rumors. And I mean, I had it figured out, man. I broke 7th edition until 7th edition came out, and everything I was trying to build wasn't playable because I had bought too much in all the rumors. So I don't want that to happen with one of my second favorite armies,
Yep. Brian, thanks for joining us. He says, anybody put any thought into playing 1,000 Suns Marines?
I've put tons. I put 1,000 minutes into them.
He says that 110 points for a sorcerer is actually pretty good, and they're marine killers.
But check this out. Brian is the all-time Helldrake hater, so I don't know if he can play the list I put together because it has 2 Helldrakes in it.
I feel like Brian
2 Helldrakes.
I feel like Brian is gonna like the Helldrake a little bit more because of the fact that it's gotten the power creep has went from here with it to like here to the good skill level where Brian's at. So
yeah, it's not as easy button anymore, right? You have to plan your vectors and things.
Family Gamers is asking if a Psyker is locked in close combat, can he use a psychic shooting attack?
Not a Witchfire.
Not a Witchfire.
Not a Witchfire, no, because it says you follow the rules for Witchfire.
But like, for example, a Nova Witchfire affects models in close combat, but you can't cast them if you're locked in close combat.
Right.
I'll take that as the answer.
Final answer.
I love Psychic Powers, man. Let's get some of these questions.
Keegan says he loves the show. Thank you very much for watching.
What a pimp. Thank you.
So we had our first full 7th edition tournament where we ran this past weekend. All 7th edition rules were allowed, and we had a blast. It was 2v2, 1250 per person, 2,500 points per team. We gave them 2.5 hours for the round.
Is that SMG
2.5
Wargaming?
hours?
What was that?
SMG Wargaming, right?
Yeah.
I think
that's Anthony.
That's actually kind of ambitious for that many points in the new edition, but it sounds like it worked.
Well,
You're playing a cooperative game. People both have to be trying to get to the end of it and willing to work through it.
Dude, Juice and I have a bromance for double tournaments. Doubles is one of the most interesting ways to get your game on with your friends. It lets you share the burden of movement, the burden of thought. I mean, there's so many things that I was overthinking that Juice said, and we went with that instead in our recent game. I feel like it might be possible to get those ambitious times in a double tournament because you do have help.
Rob, I don't want you to feel left out. I want to point out to the internet right now that Rob and I have played in many doubles tournaments and won.
Rob and I played in a doubles tournament and won.
You and I.
Me and Juice are going to play in a doubles tournament. That's right. We don't need none of you.
I was getting ready to go there, dog. I'm glad we were one brain.
We could all play in doubles tournaments.
I feel like we should all be on a team together, like a 4-man team. Is there any provision?
Wait a minute.
Is there any 4-man team tournaments? I don't know.
Just want to let you guys
we can pick up Juice for ATCs.
I want to let you guys Chicago know right now there are 2 O's in Goose. That's 8 O's. Put Goose on there 4 times. Oh, that's right.
2 times 2 plus 4.
Yeah.
Ben Hopper here, coming in from Scotland. Awesome, thanks for tuning in.
Nice.
I'm drinking a little single malt scotch right now.
I saw that. Is that a bottle of Glenfiddich behind you?
There's a bottle of Glenfiddich, Glenlivet, Dewar's 18, and Macallan. So thank you to your people for the scotch, Ben.
Oh wow, that's like a lot of liquor.
Kenny,
I recently
saw you riding a Dinobot in the Transformers trailer.
You saw me?
Yep. Oh, I think it might have been you.
Grimlock is my people, so
it's true.
like.
About Jink, since it used to be tied to the movement, an immobilized vehicle couldn't Jink, obviously. I haven't been able to find anything that says an immobile skimmer can't Jink. Sounds like an oversight. That's from Ed Black. It actually, I don't think it's an oversight. I think they just basically want anybody to Jink.
Yeah, I think so too, and that's kind of an exploit we've been playing with the Nurgle Demons. Like we talked about it. I don't know if it's one of our lost podcasts, but my friend EJ's been playing the crap out of some Nurgle Demons. And he's not zooming in, he's just jumping them in and jinking every turn.
I think we refer to it as sauntering around the battlefield.
Sauntering around the battlefields, to clarify, is when you only move 12 inches as a demon.
Right.
So, is that kind of the same thing as murder shuffling around the battlefield?
No, you don't murder shuffle if you move as jump shoot.
Gotcha.
You murder saunter.
Julio says he liked the ATC Army List video that I put up. That was we're going to do some more of them. That was a test. I think I want to make them a little bit longer and include some kind of tactics, maybe some deployment tactics in there. But the way I did it, I kind of pigeonholed myself into a very short time frame. So y'all let us know what you think.
Craig, yes. Is there any chance that Juicy Kenny and Paul and Rob can play against each other? Just so you know, TPM brought it up as we were talking for MurphCon, because as everybody knows, and if you don't know, now you do know, because we will be recording live at MurphCon for multiple on the upwards of all the hours, and we're going to have... Yep, the day before ATC, that Thursday, and we're going to throw some games. We're going to have some games going on, and that is actually the night that we might, the shooting star might happen that night.
I would say a couple of you guys are going to be all boo-boo lipped. That's all I can say.
At least 2 people in this podcast are going to be boo-boo lipped.
Yes.
Oh, man. My boy Patrick's
that's July 10th. We're going to be doing a live broadcast for an extended period of time. And doing a lot of games, a lot of interviews, a lot of commentary. Should be good times.
Thursday.
I'll let somebody else read.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
We had a question on the Facebook that was asking what we would do with Thunderwolves and if we thought Thunderwolf Cavalry and a Night Titan combo might be pretty good. Now, I think most of us have played with Thunderwolves.
Yeah. I played them at Adepticon on our team. I love them, dude. Like,
what do you think now? I mean, is it time to roll back out the 4 Wolf Lords?
Like 4 Wolf Lords with 2 Fenrisian Wolves hidden inside of a unit of 15 Fenrisian Wolves is an issue. Like, I mean, Rob was there for one of those games we played together, and we just basically completely combo charged an AM army and just destroyed it on turn 2.
Yep. Well, what would you do with actual? I mean, what about the Thunderwolves themselves from the fast attack slot or whatever they are?
The Thunderwolves themselves are a little overpointed. When you're going to be taking too many saves, wounds are coming from the angles. It's easy to outmaneuver them because they're not nearly as big a unit. People are going to be getting the angle on the Lords. You don't want them to get the Lords on. So I definitely don't like. I'm done with that type of unit. With the way wound allocation works right now.
That's really what kills them, I think, is the wound allocation, that you can't get the value you used to out of that unit.
Correct. But I think it was just complex wound allocation. There was a lot of value.
Yeah, a whole lot of value. Now the Thunderwolf mount for the Lord is good.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And what's interesting about that is, like, with all these grab weapons out there, you can have 4 Lords in there, 16 Fenrisian Wolves, just to take all the ablative wounds. And now, like, grab guns need 6s to wound this unit still.
How does the Thunderwolf rule that they can't join units interact now with the new ability to join independent characters and whatnot?
That's a good point, man.
I don't even know if it does anything. I'm just curious if there's a loop there somewhere.
The rule is that an independent character can join, like, the Fenrisian Wolves that a Wolf Lord has joined. But I don't think they can become a unit together. I think they still need the unit that's not the Thunderwolf to be.
Very possible. Yeah, I'll leave that up for when we actually have some text in front of us. I don't want to spend too much time getting the rules or whatever, but kind of seems like there may be some wiggle room there, but I don't know that there is. The wording could be locked down tight.
I'm just waiting for that new Space Wolf Codex, because a Wolf Lord is more BA baller McBallerson than any chapter master on Earth. So.
Yeah.
And he's got the freshest necklace ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't wait to see my 5-wound Wolf Lord on a Thunderwolf mount.
So Patrick here is coming in that said, and that's how Kenny and him met. They were playing at a doubles tournament, and him and his boy McCoy was playing Eldar Tau, and Kenny and his buddy were playing Demons and Chaos Space Marines, and they said they slugged it out. You guys fought out for at least 20 minutes, bloody noses, came down to a draw. Love it.
Oh, yeah.
Evan's asked, what do we think? Evan's asking what we think about the Nova restrictions to tournaments, and I haven't looked over the final list. I did, I thought that some of the thoughts he was having, in that article that got floated around, it is almost like he just listened to the podcast and immediately wrote that article. But we say that we don't want restrictions in the tournaments because we don't have any data to back up justifications for those. But we also, I'm going to stand by the fact that you're putting on the tournament, you're assuming the risk, do whatever you want. That's just it.
Yeah,
I'm saying we as a community should ask for being able to play with all of our toys.
Yeah, Rob and I are in the same wavelength there. Like, yeah, ultimately it's your thing. We play at your event. But what I don't,
that's why we're doing.
Yeah, that's why we're doing ours. But, like, the main thing I'm trying to get here is like, you can do whatever you want, but if you're also trying to be someone who, like, air quotes, helps the community, wants to be a part of the community, you should definitely really define what that means before you operate tournaments under the guise of a well-rehearsed guise. That I'm giving back to the community. This is what the community wants. We don't know what the community wants because no one's ever played a tournament with any of these rules. We're only playing them with rules restrictions.
Right. We need to stop trying to make this game like 5th edition or 4th edition.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If we keep changing it, we're never gonna play 7th. Like, we gotta play 7th for 7th and not start turning it into something it's not.
And let me state, I'm on a little bit of a tangent right now, so let me just follow me out. But if you step up your terrain game and get some actual legitimate line of sight blocking terrain that matches the rules of the edition that you're playing, it makes a world of difference. It makes the whole game easier and more fun for everybody.
Yeah, and I mean, I would like to even go as far to say as it makes a world of difference. It actually is the difference in the editions. Look at the terrain rules that have changed from edition to edition, and that is actually how the game is like. That is, the terrain is probably one of the most crucial parts of the game.
It is one of the most defining elements is the way the terrain works.
Yeah, I mean, we can go back if you want to talk about 4th edition, where you could only see through more than 2 or 4 inches, 6 inches of cover. You know, Crew could see through more. You know, if you were within 2 inches of cover, you did this. That was a completely different play than whenever 5th edition dropped, and you could shoot anything. As long as you saw just the smallest amount, you got a cover save. I remember that was, I mean, huge. So, yeah, I mean, you got to get with the times.
Yeah, and what's since we're going on this tangent for a second, what we're saying too is that the lack of tournament data is all we're talking about. Like, man, if we have a year of tournaments running unrestricted 40K, like actual no prisoners added 40K, and then at the end of that, we see that 99% of people won with a Satan shard, or I mean a Satan, the
Transcendent
Satan. If like 99% of all tournaments were won by that guy, okay, we have now received enough data to realize that maybe Lords of Wars was too much. But like using that as a very vague and ambiguous example of 1 billion things people are trying to change. Until that day, don't change anything.
Yeah, and they get us, off to something a little bit more pleasant. Rowan asked if we think that the Blood Angels are going to get some sweet new kits if they are indeed after the orcs. And I was trying to think. What is left. What could we kind of bring up to the imagination about what could be new for a Blood Angel?
They already got so many sweet kits in the last Codex.
I think we're going to see updated character models. I think we're going to see a new Mephiston, maybe a new Dante, and maybe a couple additional special characters.
That's a good point because all the other stuff is pretty much updated.
Well, I do think there'll be some other. I think there'll be a new unit that will make you want to buy kits for it. Like they may use the Sanguinary Guard kit or whatever, but there'll be some other kind of guard or a 10-man unit of something that uses those kits or whatever. That's what I think. That's my personal opinion. You got any? That's complete speculation. So feel free to speculate, guys. What do you?
Hot off the press, you heard it here first. That's how it's going down.
No alteration, just like that.
Yep. Let's see where we at.
We got Craig.
He's so dated.
I'll take Craig. I saw the word chaos.
Yep, go for it. Still news to chaos, and found out the other day that if you have a demon of Slanesh with a steed of Slanesh, you're gaining 6 inches with your D6 runs, and then rending +1 attack, acute senses, cavalry, and outflank. Give him the Black Mace, and he's good to go.
Oh yeah, no, yes, steed of Slanesh is no joke, man. But the Steed of Slanesh that gives you +6s when you run D6s from the Demon Codex.
Yeah, not the Steed of Slanesh in the Chaos Space Marine Codex?
I don't believe that Marcus Slanesh gives you +6 inches when you run, but I could be mistaken. He might be more fresh to me. I am a Chaos guy, but I am not a Slanesh Chaos guy.
Lord Ghoul is asking, do we think Mephiston will be nerfed or removed? I don't think he'll be nerfed. I think he's nerfed right now. I mean, especially the loss of his powers. I really think they're going to beef him up and put out a new model. So everyone may own one, but they're going to want whatever this hot, sexy new vampire model is. That's if I had to guess. And Lamont says he would like to see a Chaplain Dreadnought for the Death Company. I would too.
Yeah, I just want to see a Chaplain Dreadnought.
Yeah,
I don't care if it's Blood Angels, if it's Black Templar supplement. Like, man, we've been hearing about one. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, Forge World's got one, and it looks okay, but I'd love to see just a true Blood Angel one that has an aura around him, like everybody within 6 inches gets the Chaplain abilities.
Call that the Pimp Aura.
Yeah, Stoner Seed just showed up. He clarified that he was late, but I think he gets a pass.
So, Family of Gamers here says, Kenny, what do you think Chaos needs?
I would like to see Chaos with just more aggressively pointed cults. And won't even go into the detail of not having like ammunition and no fear. Like I can overlook that. If you just aggressively pointed the Colts, I feel like the Codex is entirely more flavor.
It's easier for them to get leadership 10 though.
It is, man, but you fail one leadership. Yeah, you fail one leadership check because you lost combat by 2 and they sweep you. Like, do you really think a bunch of Chaos Space Marines can get swept by a squad of cultists? Like,
I'd like to think we don't live in that world.
A squad of 10,000-year-old.
But we do live in that world.
We do.
It doesn't make sense.
They're going to hold the fluff now. Is like these aren't the 10,000-year-old ones. These are the newer ones, the fresher recruits.
Only
Which
the
makes
the 2,000-year-old.
Yeah, or at least 100 years old. They're Astartes, like whatever. Dude is 18 years old and is an Astartes. Do you think you, me, Rob, and Paul could sweep that guy?
I definitely could. I don't even need any of you.
Probably not.
Paul could with his like mustache, goatee.
Chris says that the Blood Angels might get a nice new flyer, like some kind of new land speeder storm kit for them specifically.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And or something to use. I think it's been mentioned also. It might be something to use the new big oval base.
Ben is asking if we will do an orc list when the Codex drops. Any ideas from what? Yeah, believe me, I cannot wait for this book. So we'll be getting orc everywhere.
Believe that there will be 100 lists.
True.
Paul Turner is asking what we consider proper 7th edition terrain. You know, heck, I could get up. You know what? I'm just gonna get up. Y'all entertain him while I go get one.
So I'm gonna shout out my boy Justin. Troop. He's missing the show. He's not here watching the show, but he just hit me up on Facebook and apologized for missing the show. Apology is accepted.
Word, J Troop. I'm about to. This is for you, dog.
Yeah.
So here we go. We got.
This one goes out.
Yep.
Roll call it, Juice. See what you see. See who's still watching.
All right, let's see here. Oh man, Paul, Paul's got an earthquake going on over there.
It's Godzilla. It's Mecha Godzilla Paul.
That was totally my bad.
I think
What's that?
He's been trying to do an unscripted skit for the last 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah, stop. No unapproved skits. This is what I consider 7th edition terrain. I want to point out this is my head and this is the size of the terrain. Now, not every terrain has to be this big or whatever, but I want to point out that the whole bottom level is line of sight blocking.
Man, and you know how big Paul's head is.
But how are you supposed to shoot people?
That's what I'm saying. But see, I got these sweet. I built these custom floors in here, and I put this stuff called. It's basically for like needlepoint or whatever. Called it's technically called grading or whatever to make it look over some foam core board to give me some sturdy floors because I was running out of actual Games Workshop pieces and floor pieces, and then so I've got some height to it. You know, I've got line of sight blocking at the bottom. They can at least block out a rhino. You know, heck, our Wraith Knight behind here is even kind of hard to see sometimes. It's got all the and then the windows and stuff on the 2nd and 3rd floor, and that's where people get their fire points from. So this is what I consider at least one piece of proper 7th edition terrain. I mounted it on a base. Now you don't have to do that, but I think it ends up giving a cleaner. You have less questions during the game.
Especially now with 7th edition, it says if you're in the base of the ruin, if you're in the ruin.
Yep.
So they really want you to have a base.
In cover in or behind. Yep. So.
And here's
a base. That's good.
Just one quick thing in case there's a question. And this is obviously not finished. This is just base coated or whatever. But I painted the inside of it this tan color because it's easier to see models. Like either for pictures or making sure you didn't miss one, so the light doesn't block it out to where you lose track of the model or whatever.
There it is, Paul. Yeah. Paul Turner, we have correct 7th edition terrain. Kenny and I sat down and made about 7 pieces that look just like that. Great minds.
Yep. Yeah, and I got a few more back there. It's just, and these what's it called? The Pegasus hobby kits.
Yeah,
they're
Pegasus Gothic terrain ruins.
Not very expensive.
No.
And I don't know. You can use this trick. I don't know. Let me bring up again. Like I put some little PVC piping in there, so it looks like I don't know if you can see it on camera or not. I apologize if you can't. But it just looks like some plumbing or whatever from these bombed out floors. Yeah.
You mean
this whole thing may have cost me, $15, $20 at the most.
I'll give you $12 for it right now.
Yep.
What's the base? Did you use that masonite?
Yeah, it's an MDF wood that I cut it. Well, I put the terrain on there, drew how I wanted the thing to be,
and then cut it
out, and then sanded off the edges to give them a little beveled edge.
Did you use like a belt sander? Or
I did. I used a belt sander.
Yeah, that's what I got. I got this like emplacement thing, and then I just kind of bevel them in and. That stuff's tough, man. It'll take some damage.
Yeah, that's what I did. And I think it's gonna work out pretty well. And I'm digging. I'm digging the that's what I think 7th edition is.
There it is. So Danny just wanted to let us know he's sorry for being late, but he loves what we're doing. And hey, Danny, we couldn't do it if you guys didn't tune in either. So appreciate it, man.
Yeah, definitely. Does anybody know this? Can you ask questions on the iPad version if you're watching this on the iPad?
I don't know.
I thought that was one of the things that doesn't work. Because didn't Haspel try to do that when he was watching it once?
I know. My iPad, I can't do most anything I want to. So.
That's fair. I think he couldn't get it to work.
Yep.
So Christopher Morgan has a good question. I want to read one.
Do it.
Hit it down.
No.
So here's a question: if troops are in or on a building, and if some of them are inside, who takes the casualties first? The guys on top or the guys inside? Literally, whoever is the closest with a tape measure takes the casualties first.
Unless it's a barrage, and then you have to do it from where the first hole landed, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But I guess what I'm saying is there are vertical and horizontal inches both in play in this game.
That is true.
Yes. Craig's asking if you have stained glass windows, do they block line of sight? This really comes down to if they block line of sight. I think if you can see that model through there, shoot away. But you can also just clarify it with your opponent.
Yeah, all my stained glass windows block line of sight. They're bulletproof, actually.
Wow. That's an expensive far future.
Danny has the answer to our question. He says you cannot interact with that iPad. He says he's trying to find it.
I just got a text saying we cannot interact.
Okay, so Google is not iPad friendly.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Turns out they don't kick it. They don't.
Yeah, they don't.
Beers in the same place.
Nah, they don't yin and yang. They're like, nah, we're haters.
Yeah, Craig's asking. He's like, hey, something to notice in the Chaos Codex. So there's a whole lack of Eternal Warrior. There's better armor saves on some units, or the lack of better armor saves on some units, and the lack of invulnerable saves, like with Karn the Betrayer. Why do y'all think that is?
Chaos has always been that way. They've always struggled. They've always had a worse invulnerable save than Space Marines can get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's always kind of been their thing. But here's a suggestion: when you're making a Lord or making a Demon Prince, then you have 10 extra points or that boon mutation every time. Dude, like I'll tell you, man, 1 in 3 games that I play at a tournament, that fool will have a 2+ armor save or Eternal Warrior because of that random roll. So
I like that.
They've always been way more offensive than defensive, and I think that kind of ties into it. Unfortunately, I would like to see some more 2+ saves and some
2+ saves would make me happy. I don't know if I need all that pesky Eternal Warrior because we're a bunch of pimps. We don't need to be.
Well, if we had
Shield Eternals,
if Chaos had 2+ armor saves and feel no pain, that would be enough probably.
Absolutely, I could totally concur. That would
built into it. Like the reason Sanguinary Guard are not very good is because of the fact they get 2+ save. You have to spend another 50 points to get feel no pain, and it's got all these rules, on them that you have.
Yeah, but at least you get another dude out of it.
You have to buy the guy.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I'm not hating. Chaos Space Marines are a great codex and they're fun, but with these suggestions that Paul's making, that just means the codex would have more viable units.
Yeah,
some of their name characters that are maybe legends, could live up to that legendary title.
That would be great.
Yeah, and I don't want to say that they're not well designed. They're great. I mean, for what those characters do, it's like that's what they do. Like if you write a story about a guy that has a force stave and a plasma pistol and a lightning claw, and that's what his figure comes with.
There you go.
Is that wrong?
How did you know? That's exactly the model I was converting.
I mean, is that wrong? I mean,
I think we're all forging the same narrative.
Yeah. Canis Wolfhorn just comes to my mind. It's like, man, the coolest looking model ever, but his rules do not stack up to him.
It's only got claws.
So Sean is hitting us up here with he's trying to run a conscript blob with Azrael and Yarick, but finding the 2x scouts tax and the platoon minimum requirements are too much wasted points. Any thoughts on making it work, or the notion not properly usable in a battle-forged army?
Let me weigh in here for a second. Sean, let's have a talk. Let's pretend like nobody else is listening. All right, because this is like some hot tech. What if you just made a 50-man blob squad and then put a White Scars librarian in there? And given that whole thing hit and run. You can use orders coming out of Chimera to get to use like the ignore cover order. So like the last cannons and stuff in that big blobbed up unit can just murder wave serpents every turn, and you're not going to be locked in combat. You put a priest in there to make them fearless. I mean, it's White Scars librarian in a blob squad.
Further to that, though, is if your priest died, you'd still have Edition of Fear because that confers to the unit.
Yep.
And here's the kicker: you can take Space Marines as your primary because you can take this whole blob squad as one. It's just one troop choice.
Yep.
So that means you can get all the cool stuff that the Space Marine list has. You can get the Centaurians. If you also get 3 Wyverns like we talked about, man. Like you get 3 tank. You get 3 of everything for one.
Yeah, you could take 2 librarians, 2 scout squads, and then about 1 trillion guardsmen.
Yeah.
And 3 Wyverns, and out of the Guard Codex.
You can get a Storm Raven from the Space Marines, whatever you want, man.
Yeah, and those dudes are going to get hit and run. They're going to have real good saves. You could put commissars in there if you wanted to. I mean, you do whatever you want. I mean, there's so much value you could scrape, or I guess extra bodies and extra stuff that you normally wouldn't think about because you don't think of taking. Oh, I need to take a full size platoon as my ally, but there's some potential there.
There we go, and that is Paul's corner. His one-on-one. Anybody else, just call ahead.
All right, everybody back in. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, all right, everybody can come back in now.
You were talking. I only listened with one headphone, and it was like you were whispering to me.
So I have a quick shout-out to Facing the Gray Tide, Evan. He was watching. He got dropped. He's having internet problems. He says he's going to watch it tomorrow. I just want to shout him out. Thank you for watching.
I appreciate it, brother. All right, so we got Abram here is asking, does anyone know, is there a rule prohibiting Terminators from drop pods? I want to use Grey Knight Primary with Space Marine drop pods and drop Paladins in the pods. Would this work or be illegal?
No. So you can put someone in Terminator armor in a pod if he's like an HQ or something, and he joins those dudes. But since you can't start the game in somebody else's dedicated transport.
That's it. You cannot begin the game in a dedicated transport of another unit.
The people who do this the best are Space Wolves. Space Wolves can, because of the way Wolfguard work, is you can actually purchase drop pods and then give them Terminator armor. So I would suggest taking a look at the Space Wolf Codex and checking out the Wolfguard entry if that's what you want to do.
Stoner Steve, Drago is back. He is so good. So
unless he gets something in a warp.
I keep saying Pippin ain't easy, but it's actually just a lie. Like Pippin is so easy.
It's easy for Drago. He just does it.
It's so easy for Drago.
Yep. And Cody has, also really good. I mean, he's the best. He's the best 100 points you could spend.
Cody is so good.
Yeah, on a character.
Have they ever errated somebody's points? Like ever? I know they've always reduced points, but have they ever
do you remember that
raised
formation
somebody's-
they put out where they changed Dante's points? Like they put out, what was it, man? They put out some data slate where Dante's points.
No, it wasn't a data slate. I think there's one of those Black Library like fluff books on like a 10-page fluff or whatever.
It was awful.
Yeah.
Oh man, I just saw my mom in here in the Q&A.
Oh.
She said that it was not popping up the camera when popping up right.
Yeah, and
we're
then it
having-
went back to normal.
Yeah, we're having a lot of connectivity issues tonight. I don't know what's going on.
Man, it's that summer, man. Everyone's hopping. Everyone's like, no one has anything to do on a Monday night except be on Google Hangout.
Yeah.
Or Netflix.
I'm on
That
both.
could be it.
Should I turn one of them off?
Yeah, yes. Yes, you should look into that.
Stunner Steve says you can take a Terminator Forge World pod.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, if you can, you can. I mean, it's like, but that's the rule is you cannot be in someone else's dedicated transport at the start of the game, unless you're, unless you attach an HQ or a character model that could join the unit and fit in the transport.
Juice, you read my mind. I was just saying Lord Gaul needed to be addressed.
Yep, here it is.
All right.
How do you think that the Necron Command or Catacomb Command Barge issues are going to be played?
What issues?
So basically, for everyone who doesn't know, the way a chariot works now is you can shoot the chariot. The guy who owns the chariot says you're hitting the chariot or the guy.
Yeah, because
Since
the two pools or dice are placed into separate pools,
Yeah.
and then you allocate them either to the chariot or to the guy itself.
The reason this is amazing for Necrons is that their chariot has quantum shielding, so it's armor 13. So you could just simply say all your stuff that can't hurt my armor 13 hits my armor 13.
Like Psychic Shriek.
Yeah, so basically, he's asking about the loadout I saw there. I feel like, personally, I don't want the 3+ invulnerable. I think it's a waste of points, the phase shifter, but I'm all about the 2+ save. I'm all about the 2+ save, the Resurrection Orb, and that is it. Besides the War Scythe, obviously, you need a War Scythe. But like I know Rob was telling me he's all about the phase shifter.
Don't forget Mind Shackle.
Yeah, and I guess Mind Shackle. If you have the points for it's 15 points. Like can't the chariot just leave close combat or something dumb?
It can't anymore. No, it cannot.
No.
Oh,
You have to. You have to win the combat. I actually got tied up in a combat over the weekend with Baal, and he was holding up two lords on barges as well as 2 wraiths. He literally it was like 8 rounds of combat with that guy. It was nuts.
Beast
So
mode.
I guess what I'm saying is don't be afraid to pour points into this guy. He is amazing.
Yeah, it's going to get work done. And yeah, I don't think it's not working as intended. I think that's exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, because in the brackets in the rule book they even put in parentheses like the Catacomb Command Barge. So they really knew what they were doing when they wrote. Well, they didn't. I'll take that back. I don't know if they knew what they were doing. They were cognizant of that they were writing it towards the Command Barge in particular.
Right. Sure. Craig's asking if you can issue orders out of a tank. Yeah, you can out of a Chimera for sure. It's got a
You have to
special
have
rule.
the command rule, right?
Yeah.
It has a command vehicle special rule that allows you to issue orders out of a tank. So that's what you do. You actually take a command squad in a Chimera. Even if you don't use Chimeras, you still want the command squad in one of those to give them a little bit of a durability.
I agree with Eric Matthews' sentiment.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know if I'm getting down the hair, but sure. Yep.
Ditto.
Chris is saying that the Blood Angels are really heavy on the elite slot. Yeah, they are, and I'm hoping that gets fixed.
But they
Especially
get
with all these
so
things.
many things that are like 3 for 1 though. Like you can get 3 Sanguinary Guard or 3 Chaplains.
I don't think you can get 3 chaplains. You can get 3 Sanguinary Guard or Sanguinary Priest.
Sanguinary Priest.
But so what I hope though is that the Sanguinary Priest, especially with so many things that are going, outside of the normal 4-sword chart, I'm hoping they bring back the Sanguinary Priest as an HQ slot. The Sanguinary High Priest.
And the Sanguinary High Priest was a beast back in the day.
I used the crap out of that guy. Loved him. I'm hoping that we get that back, and then the Priest go outside of the 4-sword slot. Like you can get 0 to 3 or whatever outside of the 4-sword slot.
It's so good. But Patrick over here is so impatient. He's blowing me up on Facebook. He wants me to say, You go Crimson Slaughter, and you can get the Demon Heart, which gives you a 2+ armor save for one of your guys. So there is, yes, a 2+ save available to Chaos. It is awesome. I put it on everything. We talk about it all the time. The Crimson Slaughter, Beatdown, Slaughterhorn, Palaquin Lord. Yes, Patrick, it's awesome. I do take that almost every time.
Wolf 16-4D0 is asking us what if we think land speeders are really good in 7. I've been on record saying they're awesome. Would I take them instead of long fangs if I was playing Space Wolves? Probably not, but I'd take them in addition to. I wouldn't take them instead. I would take them in addition to. I wouldn't say the Mordrak's going to be cut. I'd say that's probably open for expansion. I think we're still going to see HQs that may not have models for them. And Games Workshop isn't helping themselves with the fact they keep making these like Space Marine models with the worst equipment possible. Combi Grav, Chain Fist.
I don't know. I like some of the. I like the Space Marine ones that came out. The plastic ones.
The grab gun power sword guy?
No, the one that came out. The limited edition one where the free
Power
giveaway
Fist plasma pistol. Something you never do.
I think he looked good.
I didn't say they don't look good. They all look awesome, but no one should be playing with them. That one model did have skulls on the cape, which it's the coolest cape they've ever done. It's got like all skulls all over the cape.
I hope they do something crazy like that from Fiston, like make it.
Well, I don't know. I can't believe we're still talking about the plasma pistol guy when I have something far more important to discuss, which is that I have 4 Mortarions in a shelf back here.
Oh, I think one of those is mine.
One of them is
one of
absolutely
those is
yours.
mine.
One of them is absolutely also yours.
Yes.
So,
I told you, I'm gonna have 2 type. I'm gonna have a Typhon, a Typhus, and Mortarion on the same table in a 40K game.
Who's on first?
I've got all the Mortarions, but also I want to mention I'm basically going to be bacheloring it up for the next 11 days here in Durham. I know Juice is coming out on Thursday.
Yep.
I know that Rob is trying to come out. Our buddy Mike Twitchell is coming out. We got a couple other friends coming out. We're in Durham. If you're going to be in Durham for any reason, and you want to play
near Durham, 2 hours to Durham,
text me. My number is on my website. We will play at this clubhouse.
Let's do it down Thursday night. Rob, Eric, is that the night that you're coming?
I'll have to.
Rob Bear can't come.
I had a team meeting today when I discovered that 3 of my 5 employees in the back could not properly tell me which of the carrots was less than or greater than, and
dude, it took me my entire grammar school.
The alligator eats the big one. All right.
Yeah. I like carrots. So I would say I am bigger than both, and I will eat the carrots.
Normally, that's not a thing that you have to bring up in the mail order business. But when you're doing a lot of uploads and keeping inventory straight and things like that, you have to upload. And I'm like, what's going on? Why are these uploads so wrong? Turns out they didn't know greater. They were putting greater than, less than, and I was like, all right, guys.
They were interchangeable for me too until I was. So
on that note, we're about at the end of our hour. Has anybody got anything they want to talk about or add that's not Rob's job related before we get out of here?
Let's talk about real quick. Since we're talking about Rob one more time, FTW Games, the Forged the Narrative Summer Open, August 9th.
9th and 10th.
Talk about it on the podcast. It's going to be 9th and 10th. It's going to be a 2-day race.
Yeah, we will be updating our website with information on that. You will be able to go to spikybiz.com to purchase your tickets. It's going to be a thing. I really hope that you all want to get involved in it, especially, Forge and Narrative Nation people who are within a day's drive. It would be awesome to see you all.
We're going to put a lot into making this a fun event.
Yeah, from start to finish, from the time you show up to the time you leave, we're going to be hanging out, having a good time, eating, having drinks, laughing. So make sure you get involved. We're looking at maybe 50, 55 people. So everybody will know ahead of time when the tickets go on sale. So make sure you get yours.
All right, guys. Well, thank y'all for watching, for viewing tonight, and all the questions and stuff. I think we got to most of the questions. If we didn't, I really apologize. Sometimes it gets difficult when they're jumping around, and then time gets kind of away from us. But again, thank y'all for watching us. Thank y'all for subscribing on YouTube and Facebook and listening to the podcast. My name is Paul Murphy. Juice, take us out.
All right, rapid fire. Craig, appreciate you watching. Lord, Paul, Chris, Danny, everybody, you guys, we've had just a lot of questions tonight. Eric, appreciate it. Craig, SMG Gaming, Family Gamers, everybody, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.